friends, Infinite Future here. Today we're taking a look at a new plugin by Unfiltered Audio, and this plugin is called Needlepoint. Now, Unfiltered Audio has this kind of thing where they, every once in a while, really obsess about a specific thing, and in this case, this obsession is about vinyl. So this is a vinyl, technically an emulator. It generates a vinyl effect, including all the dust and scratches and all that sort of stuff, but without using any samples or anything. So you're getting a truly unique experience every single time you are listening to this. Now, why would you want a vinyl plugin? That's a good question. Really depends on the kind of sound you like. It could be very good for things like lo-fi, maybe hip-hop would be very useful to have a vinyl thing. And of course, it just adds a little bit of extra noise, which could give that nostalgic vibe to whatever you're doing. You can also use it as a sound generator if you need some sort of noise sound source. This definitely generates noise, so that could be good. Also, another upside of Needlepoint is you won't be using that very toxic vinyl stuff. Probably seen a video of Ben Jordan talking about it. Although, even though I've seen the video, I still occasionally get that little itch and buy me some toxic vinyl. So it's not going to completely take you off that addiction. Anyways, so let's talk about Needlepoint. I do need to disclose that I work on the beta team for Unfiltered Audio, so I have been playing around with this for a little while, which also means I didn't pay for it, which doesn't really influence what I'm going to tell you, because this is mostly a showdown of all the features. Whether or not this is a tool for you is completely up to you. So just check it out, and if you think this is worth it, try to demo it. There's always a 14-day demo available through Plugin Alliance, so you can always just try out and see for yourself if this is a tool that fits your workflow. Let's throw on a Needlepoint and let's take a listen. Now, let's turn off a few features and let's go through it. Let's start off with the dust in this case. The signal flows from left to right, but the dust is the one obvious thing. You have three kinds of dust: small, medium, and large dust thingies. You can drag these around. Drag them down reduces the volume. Drag them to the left reduces the density. So let's do a lot of small dust. A lot of medium dust, and a lot of large dust. And you can mix this in whatever order you want. Next to this we have the offset controls, which are very handy, and you can see down here the offsetted settings. So let's reduce the offset. This is the actual volume, and you can move them down very easily to make quick adjustments, which is very nice. The same can be done with the density. You can push them back or enhance density. It's also a quick way to just max everything out or minimize everything. And there's also the little on-off here. You can also filter this. Free band EQ, which you can move around. So you can create those forest fire sounds if you want to, and next to that is the bump, which makes the crackles affect the incoming signal. So you bump it down when there are crackles happening, which is quite a nice effect, which we will demonstrate a little bit later when we actually input some sound. Underneath the dust we have the noise. Also has a filter. and a color control. The movement makes the noise a little bit more dynamic. And you can tie the noise to transport an envelope follower, which is basically an input envelope follower, and the auto stop. That's when the record reaches the end of the input. Let's leave it on constant so we can keep hearing it. And let's turn it up for a second. Next to that we have the visualizer with spin down and broken control. Spin down basically stops the record. You can still see the needle position moving, so it will catch up. Let's make the time a little bit longer, so there you can see it moving, and then you can catch back up to real time. And we will do a little audio demo a little bit later. With the broken, you can make it skip in a groove, so you get repeats. The length of the buffer is determined by the speed of the record down here, so you can speed up the record to have a shorter buffer, or you can slow down the record to have a longer buffer. We will get a visual demonstration when we get into the sound demo. You have a master gain control here and a pitch shifter. This is a real-time pitch shifting algorithm, which is designed to be pretty lo-fi. It's not really a sound I enjoy, but at the same time, it can be useful if you're after a certain kind of old school sampler sound. So use at your own discretion. Definitely don't push it too far because it gets pretty weird. Although, again, that can be the effect you're after, so who knows. On the very left side is actually the input. We have the gain control and the age control, and for this we are going to need a little bit of sound. So let's just throw on this backing track. Let's actually unmute backing track and throw it on. There we go. So we can age the track. Which effectively drops out the bottom and enhances the mids and highs. It's a very nice little tool. We get a whoa and a flutter control. Which basically emulates inconsistencies in the speed of your turntable. Now, in a professional turntable, the whoa and flutter should be very minimal, whereas in cheaper machines you will get a bit of whoa and flutter. This of course pushes it all the way to machines that should probably be no longer in use. So yeah, you can go very far with this. That's your whoa and flutter, and underneath you have some compression algorithms. For this I would recommend just grabbing the manual. They are all based on something, but they are basically compression, which can be pre or post effect. Let's leave some pre effect. Let's throw on a little bit of a sound again. So as you can hear, if you really push the bump, the signal almost completely cuts out whenever there's a crackle. Actually, let's do just large crackles as loud as they can be. This can help with the clarity of the crackles. So if you want to have the crackles underneath sounds, it can be useful to bump them a little bit so that every crackle sidechains the incoming audio a bit to make it a little bit more audible. That's the idea behind the bump. So that's our compression, our recording, and all this middle stuff. So let's talk a little bit about the playback. As you have probably seen, you have a visualizer going on here. That's your playback buffer. Now if I am to change the buffer size, you will see this changes as well. So let's change it to 45. 33 1/4. 16. 2 beats. And this buffer is relevant for our spin downs and broken controls. So let's turn into 33 1/3 and let's hit broken. And when you deactivate broken, it will jump back to wherever you are in the track. So it's quite nice. Spin down, it's one to show as well. Now the song is still playing, so you can see the visualizer still updating. And if we spin down or spin back up, it catches up with the real-time buffer. That's pretty cool. Now, what I like to do is have a pretty fast spin down, have a longer spin up. Those are not separate controls, but you can just easily automate it or anything to get that effect, because it sounds just a little bit better, if you ask me. Versus so there you go, that's the spin down controls. And last but not least, let's hear the pitch control. If you automate this, you will get a very strong one flutter effect. What else is there to say? If you right click any parameter, you can lock it for randomization. So let's turn on some of the effects, and let's, for instance, lock the level here and unlock the density. Now if you refresh, all the other parameters will change except those parameters. So that's pretty nice. You can do this for any parameter you want. So if you want to have a fixed buffer length, then you can just go around a little bit. So that's a nice little tool to quickly try some different settings. In the settings, you will find the randomization depth and the drift prevention. You will also find the color themes. I'm using CyberDex right now. You can randomize the theme on startup, and you can save the size of the plugin at any point. This is a fully scalable plugin, so you can just make it as big or as small if you want. So it's very nice for everyone with like 4K screens. You can definitely size it up enough to make it pretty. Yep, you have your tooltips and your visualizer, which you can disable if you find it distracting. You can turn off the visualizer or not, whatever you like. And the last little thing you might have noticed is that you can actually customize the logo, which is pretty fun. Default logo is also, by the way, the global control. You can change it by going to your plugins presets folder on Windows. That's in your app data. So you need to go to your user profile, show the hidden items, go into the app data, roaming, unfiltered audio, and Needlepoint. There should be a file named label.png. You can throw that away and put your own label in there, and it will try to resize it to the correct size to fit into this little center thingy. Fun thing is it uses PNGs, so you can also use see-through things. So if that's your jam, that's totally a possibility. You need to reload the plugin for this to take effect. And that's pretty much everything there is to say about Needlepoint. If there are any questions about Needlepoint, if there's anything you'd like to know, if there's any feedback, just let me know. I'll see what I can tell you about it, or I can relay your feedback. And until the next one, I'm going to say, have a great day.